What was it that led you to make this film?
Well, honestly, we were asked, we met with Naomi and Avram, who's the producer of the film, and some of the other people were involved, and they asked us if we would be interested in making it. And so, based I think probably on our other films that we have made, and so we read Naomi's book, and after reading her book, we thought there were some, that it was a very amazing argument that she, not argument, but but her research was something that we should put out in film. And in meeting when we met with Naomi early on, she thought that it would translate well into a film because, it was the images and the visuals, the comparisons that you'll see in the film are ones that I think you don't need words, that they just resonate alone, just by seeing the comparisons. And so she had the opportunity to put it into words in a book, and we tried to take her lecture of the book and put it into pictures.
What got you interested in this, Alec?
I think that the thing that really, I've said this before, and it may seem modest to everybody here, but that thing with Bloomberg and the Republican convention really burned my ass. I was so upset that that happened in the city of New York, that they weren't going to have any protest allowed. It just really kind of drove me almost crazy. And I think to myself, I'm someone who's worked with political groups for the last 20 years for whom campaign finance reform was our holy grail. Campaign finance reform is the linchpin of all problems. This is my opinion. Campaign finance reform is the linchpin of all problems in our society today. And I've worked with groups for the last 20 years on that issue. We worked for the Clean Campaign in Maine, the Legal Defense Fund in Massachusetts, all these places, the city in New York. But now we're seeing that the charter of the city of New York is easily upended as well. So, but the idea that I think both people who are running for president today, presidential candidates are like luggage in some old movie with all those big stickers on them. Paris, Lisbon, Kyoto, Venice. The presidential candidates are owned by someone. But you still have to ask yourself, and in this election you want to say, who's the person who's going to turn back this assault? Who do we have the best chance of turning back this assault on our freedoms in this country for innocent Americans? I still believe that on any given day the bulk of Americans are hard-working people. They work too hard, as a matter of fact. They pay a lot of money in taxes, and they want to be left alone, and they want to live their lives in peace. They don't need to be monitored by the National Security Agency on an ongoing basis.
Alec, can I speak?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Such an urgent question, who's going to fix it? And I'm sorry to tell you, if Barack Obama is elected by a miracle in a transparent, accountable election, we are not out of the woods. It's the better outcome, because at least we're avoiding the wholesale dismantling of our checks and balances and the further establishment of sort of police-state basics that I've argued you're going to see in a Palin presidency. I'm not so concerned about John McCain, but I'm very, very concerned about Palin being surrounded by rove advisors and rove speechwriters. And in a closing society, you often see a telegenic, not very bright figurehead selected by the same group of criminals who intend to be the powers behind the throne in the next regime. Dictators love elections. They hold elections all the time. They just make sure their elections are corrupted and that a figurehead who's on their team gets in. So if we elect Obama, it'll stabilize things enough for what's necessary, which is a real citizens' revolution, a grassroots American democracy movement, and we've started one, and you can sign up for it with that piece of paper that you'll be able to, and you can go to myamericaproject.org. It's going to be millions and millions of Americans. We have almost 5 million in the American Freedom Campaign's partner organizations, but here's what I mean. Barack Obama may want to do all the right things to restore the Constitution. I believe he does sincerely. But many corporations are making trillions of dollars in shredding the Constitution. It is not cost effective to stand up for the Constitution. It's true. Here's what I mean. You'll see this in the movie. At the end of the Cold War, the third of the economy making Cold War weapon systems needed to find another global enemy. And so they, found the war on terror, and now they've switched into surveillance and security technologies. So why did he cave on FISA? Because AT&T is going to make a bundle turning us into the enemy, all right? They're trading shares on Wall Street for technologies to spy on the Chinese. I mean, this is huge business. Their lobbyists sit down with Homeland Security officials and write legislation. So we are not out of the woods. Barack Obama cannot restore the Constitution without us holding our feet to the fire. One more note, and this is what I'm writing about in Give Me Liberty. One thing we're going to need more than all the checks and balances restored in the world, and we've got a 10-point legislative agenda that you can look at, that you can pass, that will restore these liberties, is a shift in our psychology, Alec, because you said, we're passive, we're distracted, and that is true. And most of all, we need to shift from this passivity of, Barack Obama will do it, or John McCain will do it, to the founder's intention for us to understand that we have to do it. So that's it.